we're going to be able to make much more substantial and significant progress in absolutely everything we are diligently growing and thoughtfully creating. Honestly, I'm truly and genuinely very happy about this significant endeavor, and I feel incredibly passionate, very deeply connected to what we are meticulously doing here. It's been quite a considerable while since I have felt this profound sense of purpose and engagement, not because I inherently lack motivation or drive, but rather because for the very first time, and after ardently wanting to pursue and accomplish this for such an extended period, I have finally discovered and implemented a viable and effective way to achieve it. So, feeling blessed and studying a lot, we said, let's create a program, let's write a book, and this book will be made up of 30 chapters. Chapters 29 and 30, we're going to write them together at the military camp. We'll have a leadership training where you'll be there with all your chaotic sled. Let's call them that, with all your agents of chaos. We've been sold the idea that chaos is bad, that chaos is a problem. We've been told that we should stay away from problems, right? And this is completely different, it's disruptive, because here I'm not inviting you to eliminate chaos at any point. I'm inviting you to live with chaos and to become that agent who says, with my chaos and my problems and everything, I keep moving forward. But the essential message is that many times we just continuously keep on adding more and more motivation into our lives without truly addressing the underlying issues. And it's not that motivation is bad, it's just that it lasts about as long as brushing your teeth. You leave this particular conference, and well, when the conference ultimately ends, definitely perhaps the valuable information will certainly stay with you for a few fleeting hours. But if you truly turn it into a profound life ideology, and the clearest, most compelling example I currently have is God with the Holy Bible. It's an ideology that he created to such an extent that even 2,000 years later, those teachings are still being shared, right? At this point, we are already able to discern what is good and what is bad. Although, because of the feelings that come from normalizing things, for example, if we look at the time of the gladiators in Rome, it was normal to see how people got excited and watched this in the most brutal way possible. And they even shared it with children because it was normal, because there was no guidance. When Jesus arrives with this guidance, well, what happens is that now we start to have a clear way of how to do things. Do not harm, do not yes. The commandments are created like do not kill, right? Do not covet your neighbor's wife. I mean, all these commandments make it so that respect your parents, so it makes us start to have some norms, some rules for life. And that's the clearest example where he is no longer. He's not with us, right? But he created his pastors, he created his disciples, and they began to spread this message. And today, many people, thanks to that ideology that transcends religions. Yes, I don't want to get into the teachings of Catholicism or Christianity. No. What I want to focus on is the ideology that is created from there. Just like religions now that I've been studying the Muslim religion, they also regard God and Jesus as a prophet, and they apply his teachings, right? Things that are basic for us today, but at that time, in those years, were extraordinary because they were saying, oh, so we're not supposed to kill each other? Oh, so we're not supposed to sleep with our brother's or friend's wife, right? Today we understand this because a lot of time has passed. So up to this point, how are we doing? Is that clear? Are we all on the same page? Are we all on the same page? Perfect. Let's write in the chat right now. So I know you're truly with me and that we are genuinely connected, okay? If we're following along clearly, if we're understanding these important concepts. So for a very long time, people have consistently talked about and discussed various teachings that are fundamentally based on the sacred text of the Bible, exploring their profound implications. Some time ago, I told you that all the motivational speakers, all the people out there talk about strength, discipline, resilience. Come on, you can do it. All of them, everyone. And that's not bad. That message works, but it's slow. It's way too slow. I'm telling you this because I have that information. I keep reinforcing it. I listen to motivational speakers, and they're all based, if you go to the Bible, they're based on the principle, the core principle of what they're talking about is taken from the Bible. They just adapted it to the language, to the discourse that's understood today according to the times we're living in, right? But what happens? Some time ago, a few years back, I started studying some thought leaders, and these thought leaders told me that chaos, the problem, shouldn't be eliminated. You shouldn't eliminate it. And that's why today's episode is called Break the Cage of Order. Break the cage of order, right? Because the cage of order profoundly signifies that sometimes the very environment or situation we inhabit and desperately wish to escape from is cleverly and subtly disguised. It is not overtly apparent, but rather artfully concealed, making it even more challenging to recognize and break free from its confines. It's an invisible structure that tells us how we should behave, how we should act, how we should speak in order to try to fit in. Because under that cage, they offer you security. They offer you the easy way to sterilize your soul and to keep me completely calm, in balance, right? We become those fixed pieces of a system that fears movement. Anyone who tries to step outside that framework, that sketch, that map, they get labeled, looked at badly, seen as wrong, judged, pointed at. But there's something in that system that can be calculated, and that's the minds that refuse to conform. If you're here in this room, it's because you're someone who's looking for something more, but you don't know what that is. Obviously, you rationalize it by saying, well, what I want is money, I want peace of mind, I want family, I want peace. Yes, I want love, I want many things, but instead of that, what they're really doing is following a life transformation just to try to fit in. And what I'm trying to tell you right now is that from the cage you currently live in, with your problems, with your personal situations, you shouldn't try to escape from it. In other words, this message is completely disruptive. I'm not telling you to get out of the problem. I'm telling you to live with the problem, to live with the chaos, to understand that this chaos has given you the chance to develop a skill. Look, I'm going to tell you something so you know. I was at the gym and I saw a person without an arm, without a forearm, without an arm, without this part of the arm, you know. He only had up to here. I think this is called the forearm, right? He only had the forearm and the other arm was complete. And I distinctly saw him lifting heavy weights, the substantial bar laden with weights, well over 200 pounds. I am absolutely not lying about this remarkable feat. 200 pounds. I'm talking about 100 kilos. And obviously the effort was impressive to me. I was thinking, oh my God, I hope that doesn't fall. That would be another accident, you know? But with half of his arm and the other arm, he will lift and do 10 reps. And he did 4 sets like that. And that gave me an understanding. And it's that when you don't have part of your arm, you either die with that, meaning you say, I can't, or you overcome it and say, I can't make the other part grow, right? I don't want to use a prosthesis to give him strength because I don't know if he's doing it competitively. I really don't know anything about that. But what I do know is that he accepted it with his problem and everything. He said, I'm going to lift this, period. And he did it. I don't know how he grabbed the other side. I didn't want to look because it was impressive. To me, it was something incredible. When you have a problem or a difficult situation, depression, physical issues, family problems, maybe a relative with some kind of problem, maybe an illness, I don't know, or maybe you'll be missing something you want to do, something you want to achieve, or financial problems. What everyone tells you is you have to be strong, you have to make it, you have to endure. Let's give it everything we've got. Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's what I spend my time on. But the message needs to be different. It should say accept it, right? I'm going to accept that I have this problem and I'm going to go out and conquer with it. And I'm not going to try to get rid of it. No, I'm going to develop, because if you spend your time trying to get rid of it, time slips away, your whole life passes you by. You can spend years trying to solve that problem. I know the close story of a family member with depression. They've been depressed for 10 years. 10 years. They lost 10 years, they won't be able to get back. Why? Because they focus on the problem, and what you need to do is take what you have accepted and start developing other skills. Remember the example I just gave you about the weights? I mean, no matter how much he wants it, no matter how hard he tries, no matter how much he says, let's go all in, his arm isn't going to grow. His arm isn't going to grow. Do you understand what I mean, right? I mean, you can use a prosthesis, but it will never be the same. His arm isn't going to grow. So what does he do? He takes the half of the arm he has and makes do with that and finds a solution. That's what we should do with our problems. Most of our problems are mental. They're all mental. Everything that's happening to you right now is mental. So based on that fundamental understanding, human beings often really try to cover up the inherent chaos with various hypocrisies. I invite you not to do that anymore. I invite you to join us because you often don't express your true self or take action, as you tend to try to fit in and perceive your authentic self as a problem. We are actively working to dismantle that deeply ingrained foundation that dictates you must always be a perfectly sane, calm, and composed individual, someone who adheres strictly to every rule and expectation. Furthermore, it's undeniable that social media constantly inundates us with an overwhelming sense of what is considered normal and acceptable, often suppressing individuality. And I want you to get rid of that bias completely. Everyone you see right now at this very moment with some kind of economic, physical, or family success, or who is famous, has chaos in their life, but they chose to bet on their skills and qualities, even though deep down they know they're being hypocritical. Only a few accept this and move forward with it. And they are incredibly successful. They are widely famous. That's a good message, Martin. To persist, to insist, yes, that's good, Martin. I'm not saying it's wrong. You have to do it. But when that's not enough, do you understand what I mean? When it's not enough, then I want you to pay attention to the following, and I want you to take note of this, please. The first message of this mental collapse that you need to embrace and of this life philosophy is that from this moment on, I baptize you and grant you the power to become an agent of chaos. Everyone out there is in chaos. Everyone, but they are not agents. What is an agent of chaos? An agent of chaos is a person who says, my life is chaotic. I have problems, I have situations, but I become an agent when I help others with their problems. I make them part of the movement of this life philosophy, and I start to give it value through these spaces, through these trainings. I accept you with whatever you have, depressed, with some physical limitation, with many people who are currently being forgotten, suppressed, rejected, and I invite you to come to join us, and I accept you with that situation, and I tell you, you're gonna put on this. That's it. Now, it's not like, so now you're gonna turn into the little star from Mario Bros, right? Yeah, no, like, woo. And then, yeah, let everything be destroyed, let everything turn to crap. No, no, no. No, 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 no. That's not it. An agent of chaos is, I have my problem and I go out and solve it. And when you take on the attitude of solving things for others, helping others, you say, and here I was stuck in a problem that really wasn't even mine, or that was nothing compared to what you're doing and helping with. When we created this foundation, and I personally see children who are missing an eye, and yet they continue to smile and diligently build their teddy bear, carefully putting it all together, I truly say, wow, it's absolutely incredible. How truly miraculous my life is, how incredibly blessed it is. Incredible, just that alone. Do you see what I mean? So the first message I want you to remember is stop being a hypocrite with yourself. Ready? Now, accept it. You don't have to broadcast it. If you can do it, great. But if not, that's okay. Accept it. I want you to accept it, okay? The second thing is that to build your life the way you want to live it is much easier by helping others. Because when you are helping and contributing, you break out of the cage of order, and order says, help yourself first. And yes, that's fine. Think about yourself, you first. Perfect. Yes, that's it. That's step one. That's the first speech. But the second speech is, let's start helping each one of those marginalized people, those who are mentally overwhelmed, who have no direction, who have no life, and we're going to tell them, you've come to the right place because we accept you as you are, and we face things with you and live with you. Okay? And in the third speech, this is what we call mental speeches, profoundly about telling yourself that in the face of significant uncertainty, overwhelming fear, and a profound sense of hopelessness, each and every one of these challenging circumstances actually becomes your powerful incentive, your truly magical and potent pill to genuinely start creating and building from that very point forward. That common phrase that says, do it afraid, well, do it with uncertainty, do it with depression, do it with physical limitations, but do it, don't stay stuck, don't keep overthinking. You might spend some time there, you might linger if you really want to stay in that place, but start taking action, because in the end, along the way, and if your own life isn't enough to motivate you, think about your legacy. But how am I supposed to think about legacy, Juan, if I'm depressed, if I'm broken? I mean, no, I'm not interested in helping anyone at all. Perfect. Do it out of inertia. Do it out of inertia and bring people together. If you already feel completely finished and utterly broken, please help me with two other people who might still have a genuine chance. Do you see what I mean? I mean, it's not about trying to convince you. Become an agent of chaos. And the agent of chaos is bring others who are just as lost as you, or maybe less, and we'll rescue them. If you really can't be helped anymore, and if they're not doing well in the end, statistically and mathematically, the time will come when, yes, we'll find that person and we will have given them an identity. Because when they don't fit into any community, they end up distancing themselves, they end up fading away. Their voice goes silent. And each one of them in this moment represents a voice of the collective subconscious. Let me know if I'm going too deep with information, because to reach this summary of conclusions that I'm giving you right now, I've had to read a lot and try to communicate as clearly as possible with examples so that you can understand it. Should I keep going at this level or should I dial it back a bit? 2 levels down, and you say, yes, Juan, that's fine, but I still don't understand, Juan. I want you to help me, to guide me a little more towards understanding. Write to me there in the chat. All right, perfect. Are we in agreement? I understand you perfectly. Great. Alicia, no dialing it down. Perfect. Okay. Each one of us represents a collective subconscious. Listen carefully. Each of us has a problem and a situation that we've denied or haven't wanted to accept. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying to cover it up all the time. Everything's fine, everything's calm. And that's true. No one likes to be around repressed, broken people. None of that. It's fine in society's eyes. It's fine. However, what I'm getting at is that in our work as salespeople, in our business, and in what we do, we're looking for a way out. And our sales pitch is to tell you, here is a way for you to get involved in something. Because one of the most common problems is financial. But in the pitch, you also have to say, there's a part that defines us, and that's this movement, this chaotic leadership we're creating. When you finish chapter 30, your mind is going to be blown. Your mind will be different. For those who missed chapter 1, it's on the channel. I'll show it to you in a moment, okay? So, there's already a list. And on that list, you're going to read and study them. You're not just going to stick with what I'm telling you right now. No. Don't just settle for that, because if you do, well, it's not going to be enough. You have to study everything I'm telling you, okay? Let's see. Let's look here. I'm not sure if I'm sharing my screen with you. In this list, hold on, there it is. Yes, right there. Here, it's going to be in the lists section in NV Global Lists. And here is chaotic leadership, okay? And here, chapter 1 is already uploaded, the one we recorded on Monday. And chapter 2 will be here. You need to reinforce it. Reinforce it. Besides that, share it. Share it. It has good views, 38 views, but I want you to share it. I want you to watch it and show it to other people, okay? All right? Because this is going to lead us. There it is. Right now, the internet isn't letting me. but this is going to help us find more people like that. Do you know people who are in chaos? Well, those are the ones we need here. We're not here just out of a sense of repression or a feeling of sadness. Number, we're here in a discussion where we expose how absurd it is that the system has labeled all the brokenness, all the fears, all the chaotic situations, and we turn it into a sterile moment, a moment of instability, but with a catalyst that leads us to create something we want. I'm going to repeat that. We're not here just to seek stability. Not with instability, it's in instability that we look for a catalyst. And that catalyst is creation, the creation of something you want. And that creation will be the purifying fire. And that purifying fire will transform. Chaos will no longer be your enemy. It will be your friend. It will be your strength. It's that condition of evolution that many in chaos, in the problem, that's where they create it. Let's go to the stories and move away from biblical beliefs and everything we've seen. The discourse of science, in science and in problems, has led great minds to build evolution, which in many cases is for destruction, but in many others, it's to create. It's to create. Do you believe right now there are scientists working to alleviate all kinds of diseases? And who gave them that understanding? The problem, the situation, and the removal of people from a constant life, trying to solve it with that understanding and with that evolution that has been created on the foundations of previous problems. Do you clearly and fully see that our profound and significant mission is to meticulously form a completely new order, a truly new way of life, not based solely on blind and questioning obedience, is that right? But on a consciousness that is constantly awakening. Look, these days that I've been studying all of this that I've told you about, that I've been reinforcing because I want to bring it to people, because for me that's something normal. It's already ingrained in my DNA. But I started to study it and I said, I want to bring this to people. How can I do it? So this idea of chaotic leadership came to me, the book, Everything We're Doing. It starts to give you a deeper sense of purpose because I realized that money as a motivation isn't enough. I realized that a recognition isn't enough. I realized that when you help and when you truly create life and start to change that, it begins to connect more than anything else. This is a profound movement that is deeply rooted in the shadows, emerging from the very depths of the shadow, stemming from profound pain, and arising from significant discomfort. The aim is to create a powerful league of individuals, a community of people who begin to truly find clear understanding and genuine clarity above the pervasive problem. Here's another compelling example. Consider the autistic child. The autistic child is inherently born with an innate and powerful desire. Most autistic children are born with a desire to organize. They have to organize everything and they can't see something disorganized because to them it's chaos. They can't listen to people speaking loudly because if they see someone shouting, it automatically affects them because that mind at that moment is in a state where people say, oh, they rest sick. No, no, no. The sick ones are all of us who start to normalize things. For them, it's ingrained in their DNA, it's in their mind, and for them, that's the right order, the correct way. Why do I mention autism? Because we should act like them and start doing things differently. We normalize in the family father who yells, we normalize the domestic violence, we normalize crime, threats, death. For it's normal. Recently, I was telling them that in when you get out of a taxi in my country, in Colombia, you get out and they say to you, don't give papaya. In other words, don't give papaya means, keep an eye on everything, keep everything hidden. And I find it incredible what happens to me here in Antalya, Turkey. Today, I saw the police officers leaving their helmets, their gloves. Yeah, they just leave them there, no problem. And the motorcyclists leave their helmets too, and nobody steals them. And for me, it was something, wow, incredible. I mean, nobody takes them, they're just out on the street. Can you believe it? In my country, what would happen? Exactly. So we start to develop a deeper way of thinking. where we don't suppress our true desires and begin to channel our frustrations toward the extreme. We don't deny the truth that burns inside us. We face it, we truly give it profound meaning and compelling reasons, but these are reasons that are significantly bigger than just simply normalizing life as we know it. We have to start. Imagine in our when you travel and go to other countries, well, it's not that you feel completely safe, but you do feel more at ease. And today, the beliefs in our Latin countries are based on the idea that it's unsafe, period. So when I travel and talk to foreigners, they tell me, hey, Bogota, Colombia is unsafe. I tell them, number no, it's not unsafe. What do you mean? Who told you that? We're all friendly, we're all good people. So, well, that's what I've been told. Of course, when you live in Europe for a while, then you say, wow, yeah, yes, there is insecurity because I normalize insecurity. I normalize theft. I normalize death. We need to start facing those fears and break out of the cage in which they created an order for us. And that order is one of distraction. I mean, the rules that have been created are useless. What you need to do is start coding your own education. And with this conversation I'm having with you, tomorrow you're going to start looking and you're going to start speaking and you're going to start saying things and you won't stay silent. You are going to start being that agent of chaos, trying to solve the chaos of destruction, of harm to so many lives, where we are not going to start normalizing things. And we do that starting with our smallest decisions. The movement of a single leaf creates a tsunami on the other side of the world. It doesn't matter what you start to do, but I want you to stop seeking approval. I want you to stop trying to fit into society. And for us to start creating this movement where we all understand that seeking approval will only make us part of the crowd. We don't try to eliminate the problem. We embrace it, walk with it, make it part of our training because there is no leadership. Listen very carefully to what I just told you. There is no real leadership without scars. Every scar you've had in your life has given you identity, but it has also held you back. And what I want is for you to take that scar and use it as a strength. Because when you overcome that problem, you become a superhero. You become a much better person. I embrace chaos and my mind starts to develop ideas, options, and begins to search. And that's why I break down. That's why I keep going. We want to forge a generation that postpones, that procrastinates, that lives in fear. We want to understand right now that life slips away from us just like that in an instant. You know it. But start today. Start now. Start in this very moment. Stop trying to control everything. Go with all the energy you have and break out of that cage of order that tells you, like those scientists explore and explore and explore, searching relentlessly. And there are scientists who spend 20 years immersed in a single idea. Well, I want you to take on the attitude of a scientist, but not by trying to fit in, rather by embracing this life philosophy. I want to tell you something. Excuse me, but I'm going to splash you all a bit. Excellent, Catherine. Martin says here, it's hard to digest, but we're going to keep going. I know. Because what you usually hear and what's easy to digest is what everyone tells you, That's what I want you to understand. Look, some time ago, I heard about a woman who wrote a bestseller. I don't know if you remember her. Maybe you can look her up. And this woman wrote a bestseller without sight, without voice, without hearing, without touch, without smell. It's real. What I'm telling you is real. Without any of her senses. Well, I think she did have one sense. I think it was the sense of touch. And with her sense of touch, she learned to read. She learned to communicate. Try to understand that this person didn't just lose her senses. She was born like that in that chaos. And you think you have problems without hearing, without seeing. Listen to me carefully. Without speaking. 3 senses lost, all she had left was touch. Let's see who can give me the number, who can give me the name there, please. And she wrote a bestseller. There are people who don't need to speak to be heard. There are people who just need to open up to their situation and become an example for many. If you go out with that attitude, you'll meet many people and start to influence them. And you include them here. You bring them here. You bring them into this space. Don't worry at all, Charito. It's being fully recorded and we're going to share it with everyone. And you can start to truly create that powerful resonant vibration from the shadows. Look, in ancient times, there were people who were chosen to bless lands, to open paths, to begin fertility rituals. Today, without realizing it, we continue to fulfill that role. The thing is, where are they? They've been lost. They stopped creating life in order to fit in. Today, what I want us to understand is that sometimes we look at, recognize, boast about, and talk about the one who is up there on stage. And people tell me this a lot, and I'm very grateful for everything they say to me because it gives me motivation, it gives me energy, it gives me strength. They tell me I'm doing the right thing. Thank you so much. Catherine shared the information with me. Really, thank you for that because it motivates me. And everyone who wants to share, I read your message 7. If I don't reply, I do read them. Please know that. But we truly have to understand deeply that we all possess a unique and special gift. And each and every one of us came here to genuinely help others by effectively utilizing that inherent and wonderful gift. I don't want you to turn it off. I want you to turn it on. I want you to make the most of that quality you have. This is a proposal for chaotic leadership, where the first thing you have to do is break out of the cage of order, stay in that chaos, recognize it, and go out to serve, to help, because you are blessed. Because if you have a chaos greater than anyone else's, because others have normalized theirs and managed to cover it up with their own disguises, and you have yours right there, and you say, but my life is a mess and everyone else is fine. I want to tell you that you are an extraordinary person, because in that problem, in that chaos, a new virtue is born, a new quality emerges. You explore it, you conquer it. And with that quality, you begin to break through all the limitations you've had. What we needed was to find people with that same ideal or that same chaotic situation and start building from there. No more people without direction. No more scattered people. No more people who are neglected, who are not seen, who are pushed aside, right? Who are repressed. Let's give them purpose. Out there are many people who try to face their chaos and end up more destroyed than they were before. So what do they take refuge in? In alcohol, in drugs, in prostitution, in hurting others, in many things. And it's not wrong. We shouldn't judge them because it's the way they've tried to ease their pain. A few of us who stay away from all those vices, then illness comes because our body is a reflection of what is happening at the moment. But if you give it meaning in life and start to recognize it, it's an invitation to seek stability. It's an invitation or a call to move from the deepest vibration of what you have within you to be one of those beings who transform, who can just say, I already tried. Number, they go out and say, I try, I conquer, or I die trying because this is my identity, this is my inner strength. And if you ever wonder why everything gets better for others and you're not seeing that improvement, like someone once told me, I got angry with God. Number, I want you to know that we are being forced in fire because you are capable of carrying more of that chaos, because you can conquer more, you can achieve more. Don't try to dim your light just to fit in. Don't try to please others. Don't try to hide just to survive. Break out of the restrictive cage you're currently in. Truly unleash that incredible inherent gift you possess, and let's collectively start shaking the very foundations of the system that currently shelters us, yet simultaneously pushes us away when we bravely dare to be genuinely different. No more of that oppressive, limiting nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely hope you thoroughly enjoyed and found value in what I have just shared with you today. Truly, thank you so much. We are uploading this material to iBooks. We'll be sharing the links with you soon so you can follow us. We already have a couple of followers there. We're working on organizing it, making it really nice for you. so you can keep getting nourished by all these episodes we're creating and producing. Truly, thank you so much for joining me. I am deeply grateful for all the support I've received, even just in these first 2 episodes. We started with 9 people, now we're 16, but we're aiming for more. I want to reach at least, at the very least, 500 people. What do we need to do? Find people in chaos and tell them I'm an agent of chaos? What do you mean? What's this about? Connect, listen to this episode. If it resonates, if it strikes a chord in your mind and starts to break through all those limitations, listen to episode 2. And I'll see you in episode 3 at 10 in the morning Colombia time, because from there we're building and helping many people. And by the way, if you want, I can tell you about the business later, but beyond the business, what I really want is for you to become that agent of chaos, to be part of that chaotic leadership, to not try to fit in anywhere at all, to come with us to conquer, to come with us to find more people in chaos and tell them, I accept you, I care about you, I love you with everything you have, with who you are, and start adding up. Let's start adding up. But I don't feel like it. I have no intention. I didn't feel like doing anything either. I didn't feel like fighting with what I'm living through right now either. But what I'm going through right now gave me the strength, gave me the fortitude. And today I'm already focused on what I want, right? I found purpose. And if I didn't have a purpose, if you don't have a purpose, don't worry. We'll give you one here. Become that agent of chaos. Next chapter, fear as the architect of stagnation. I want us to turn that fear that's holding you back into strength. All this information that I'm working on, if you want, you can listen to it again. We're not just working on the conscious mind, because the conscious forgets quickly, but in the subconscious, you start to create, it's like DNA. It starts to form and you begin to act that way. Consciously, you start behaving in a certain way. And that way is what helps you move forward. So a lot of people ask me, but Juan, how do you do it? I tell them, sometimes I don't even know, sometimes I just do it. But because I've worked so much on my subconscious, I've received so much information and trained so much, I've been able to reach an understanding of the why. You know, you have to be an explorer, you have to ask, but why? And not feel limited. If he can do it, I can do it too. If he's a human being, oh, okay, perfect, no, but he has an IQ of 300. Well, IQ can be developed if it's about intelligence, right? It's about time, it's the same hours. There's no real advantage. No, but he was born into a privileged society. Well, fine, because those before him, the ones who came before, did something different. That's fine. This is what I got, and I want to do it this way. And that's great, because along the way, I can help many people. Because if I were higher up, I wouldn't be able to see those below or those at my own level. Do you understand me? Because from up there, I just keep helping those who are already up there, those who are already doing well, missing the others. But if I think from here, from my position, I can help a lot of people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to everyone who wrote to us, and I'll be sharing the audio with you soon. I'll also share a guide so you can answer those questions and get ready for the next episode, Fear as the Architect of Stagnation. Take care. Thank you very much. This was Juan Manuel Jimenez speaking, creator of wealth, prosperity, and abundance. Take care. All the best. See you next time. Thank you.